Well, I'm now joined by the two Johns, John Stine and John Bird, both retail experts and tremendously good friends. So it's very nice to see you both here today. John, we started off today's Stream Commerce with Amazon, and I suppose it's indicative of the state of the retail industry today that Amazon kicked it off. If this was, I don't know, maybe even 7 years ago, I'd probably been Walmart who would have kicked it off. What does that say about the state of retail today? And is it game over for all other physical and virtual retailers?
You know, it's not, David. It's a great question, but it's not game over. It's, in fact, we're in the midst of an extraordinary evolution, and Amazon is driving that. I mean, they're kind of the Darwin of current retail, and you know, it's not a coincidence, as you pointed out, that Amazon led off the conference, because we could argue that all of retail, especially in the Amazon nations, they're navigating the Amazon. Amazon has created the expectations. Amazon has created the norms. Amazon has created what's good and what isn't so good in terms of experience, in terms of fulfillment, in terms of operations. A remarkable place they now hold in really developed world retailing. We live in the Amazon world. We navigate the Amazon.
John, you've spent many years helping, advising retailers, a lot in the physical space, clearly now very much in virtual space. Is it the end of the road now for the physical retailers? Is it, you know, are we going to see the sharp decline?
Oh, definitely not. In fact, you know, we talked about it in our panel this morning. You know, we're talking not too long ago about the retail apocalypse. Now suddenly physical is fashionable again. And you're even seeing the rush of direct-to-consumer brands into physical retail. You know, Warby Parker, which started out as an online eyewear retailer, very quickly recognising the power of physical retail. And in fact, now they do over 50% of their sales in physical stores. We were with Tal, who I know you're going to talk to in a little while, who's created a department store of direct-to-consumer brands, again, wanting to be physical. So no, we're not seeing the death. I think we're seeing a reinvention. I think we're seeing a resurgence. You know, John talks about three different things: repurposing, resizing, and rethinking physical retail. I think that's really, really healthy. We definitely will see, though, changes in formats, and I think that's fascinating. We're seeing, you know, the really big stores disappear. We're seeing express formats rise. We're seeing lots of pop-up experimentation. So it's a really interesting time to be in retail.
Now, John Stine, you were recently headed up retail for Amazon. You're now at
Intel.
Intel, sorry. You're now at slip of the tongue. You're now at M.I.T. Why are the technology companies looking at retail so closely? What is it that they see in terms of the way in which retail is going and the technology that they provide?
Probably at several levels, it's very important. One, we live in this digital world. So shoppers are connecting with brands in multiple ways, certainly face-to-face and experientially, but certainly digital. That's just a normative part of life, and it has been for a while. The second, which is also most important, is that the intimacy that brands wish with their shoppers is increasingly driven by data and deep data knowledge, almost understanding the genome of a shopper. And so that takes technology to store it, to analyze it, to turn it into action. And for that and any number of reasons, and third, then truly shoppers' expectations are created by the internet. So as the norms of the store change, as the size of the store changes, increasingly the store will have to become like the internet. It's almost a living, breathing website. All that will take technology as well.
Now, all of us worked on a white paper you wrote probably about 4 years ago, which was the second era of digital retailing. Recently, we've created a third era of digital retailing. And John, we talked about this notion of where algorithms meet human rhythms as the sweet spot of where we are at the moment. Are we beginning to see any physical manifestations of that prediction?
Well, I think we're starting to see screens recede in stores. I mean, everybody, not too long ago, was about putting screens front and centre. Now it's about using technology in more subtle and more intuitive ways. Going forward, and in that third era of digital retail report, we talked about three key characteristics. We talked about voice, vision, as in visual computing, and virtual neurons being artificial intelligence to underpin it all. And if you use those three characteristics in the right way, then retail can actually be more digital, but actually feel more human. And get back to that feeling, as you know, in London, that marketplace, borough market, which has been there for 1,000 years, and that feeling of interacting with a shopkeeper, and that shopkeeper knowing your name and knowing what you want, but all of that being driven by technology and being able to be rolled out at scale. So it's pretty exciting.
At least 2/3 of digital value in retail is enabling human interaction. It's behind the scenes.
Yep.
It's making sure that product is on the shelf. It's ensuring the right assortment. And that's where the algorithms are going to be meeting the human rhythms, as you and John so well put.
Well, John and John, thanks very much indeed for joining us. I know you'll have to rush off to give an M.I.T talk in a few minutes. John Stine, John Bird, thank you very much indeed for joining us.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, David.